Howdy do, everybody. Welcome back to the Bar Talk podcast. I hope you're all still sitting, waiting with anticipation in your seats because my guest this week is, I must say, a man I know on a personal level. Take that, no harm intended there, of course. The man is a bloody legend. I've known him for years through the open mic scene, and he's been a very busy bee during lockdown, putting out some releases and got some new stuff coming out soon. However, I won't give too much away because I have the man right now with me over the phone. Please welcome to the show, Jimmy Harwood. Jim, how are you?
How are you?
I'm going about as well as you can expect at the moment in this bloody weird time. I hope you've been
very weird time.
Yeah, I hope you've been keeping well.
Yeah, I have been, man. I've just been, just trying to make a positive aspect of the lockdown, I guess, in Melbourne.
Yeah, as they say, as the disco people say, just staying alive.
Exactly, man. Exactly.
No, I digress. Yeah, it's obviously like myself. You're a Melbourne-based fella trying to pump out some music in this time that we live in. But you've been really busy, as we were mentioning before, just off air. That you've been quite productive, actually. So I was just hoping maybe you could tell me a bit about how you've been keeping busy at the moment.
Yeah, man. Well, I around February and March, I actually started to produce my own stuff and started to mix my own stuff, which has really helped in the lockdown sort of period because I can, wake up in the morning, go to my little home studio, start working on songs straight away, and instead of writing songs and having to take them to someone, which has been super helpful. And obviously, I've got all day to do it, and it's all I really want to do all day. So it's been practicing my production sort of skills as well. But yeah, I've got nothing else to do, man. It's all I want to do at the moment. So I'm just doing as much as I can, really.
Because this was sort of a decision you came to before lockdown happened. You were like, oh, this year I'm just going to start to learn a bit about how to produce, and then all the COVID bullshit happened, and then it's just become a perfect time, I guess.
Yeah, it's
to learn this
literally
skill.
Perfect timing, man, because I've always wanted to produce my own stuff. I've always wanted full control over what my songs sound like. So, COVID, honestly, like, I'm low-key loving it, as bad as that sounds, but it's been really good it's been a good learning curve with my production and mixing skills. 10,000
other singer-songwriters just gasped in utter shock. How can he love it? How can he can't play live? Because you're a guy that's always been a live performer. That's been your bread and butter, hasn't it?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, as you said, us playing open mics all the time a couple of years back. I love live performing, man.
Yeah, and that would be the one thing that you're missing, obviously.
For sure, yeah. Like when I say I'm loving the lockdown, it's definitely just because I can produce, create and stuff. Like the live music, holy moly! I'm so keen to play gigs again.
Yeah, it's just bittersweet by the sounds of it.
Yeah, that's it.
Because you mentioned there that you're in a position now where you really wanted to take full control of your music, but you've been someone that's been releasing like mixtapes and little, just acoustic releases for several years now. At what point did you realize that, I've got to take more control over this and I've got to be able to upskill myself? What triggered that?
Well, man, like those little mixtapes and stuff, I literally made, I was producing them on my iPhone on GarageBand, bro.
Hey, no shame in GarageBand.
Yeah, shout out GarageBand, man. Got me started with just learning very basic production and stuff. So, but I've always been super broke, as a full-time musician and everything. So I never really had the money to buy solid laptop or gear or anything. So, but I still as I said, with the phone, I always, I used what I had. I couldn't not make music, so I just used the tools that I had. But then, at the start of the year, I got a bit more money. So, I ended up getting a MacBook and Ableton, and, I have heaps of friends that have produced some of my stuff that use Ableton and stuff. So I've been learning off them, and I've just dived straight into it, man.
Ableton usually, because Ableton has a very distinct reputation in the music community as being largely an electronic-based production suite or an electronic-based DAW. So but you're using it mainly more for the acoustic style. So what sort of stood out to you? Well, what has stood out to you in terms of using I forgot the name of the program.
Ableton.
Ableton, yeah. That's it, yeah. So why has Ableton stood out to you, say something compared to, say, something like Logic or Reaper or, what's the other one? I forget my DAWs.
Yeah, there's heaps of them now.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like there's like a billion of them.
Yeah. Mostly all my producer friends throughout Melbourne and stuff all use it. And you'll actually find that my newer stuff is veering more towards the electronic side anyways. Not like dance music or anything, but definitely I've always wanted to dive into those electronic elements that you can't make with a guitar and your voice and stuff. So you'll find that like my stuff that's going to come out soon is pretty electronic. But I don't know, man, there's just something about it's just super, super clean interface. I've always wanted to make like hip hop sort of beats, so it's perfect for that. But yeah, it's just clean, fast interface. It's just, it's perfect for me. I love it.
Doesn't crash. Is that why? I was talking.
It doesn't crash.
No, I was talking to someone recently that has been using Logic, and it's just a very, very temperamental beast.
I do love Logic still. Like I've used it a little bit here and there. You can do like whatever you want with any of them, really. It's just personal preference.
Yeah, it's like really past the days when it was like you had to have a different program for each aspect of it, really.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Tell us a bit. We'll go into a bit more about how you started out, because as you mentioned before, how we got to know each other was through the open mic scene when you were just starting out, but then you've moved more into playing with the band as well. And then obviously now you're going into more of that production phase of things and doing more of it yourself, doing that more DIY, doing more of the DIY stuff yourself. So do you see yourself as an artist that's always going to be constantly changing up, or do you always want some aspects of what you do to remain constant?
I think guitar will always be there as the constant. That'll be always the main thing. I just love guitar so much, and I think a lot of my sound is based around the way I play guitar, I guess. But in terms of styles and stuff, man, I couldn't stick to one genre, I'll always be searching for new sounds, new vibes. And, but yeah, guitar will always be the main thing. But yeah, having the production side of things has really spiced things up. Like on some of my new releases, I don't play guitar, but
ooh, shock and horror. Man.
Shock and horror. But that's not to say all my future releases aren't going to have guitar. They definitely will. But I think I'll forever be changing my style and searching for new stuff.
Did you find that, because again, you're very much always been, as we said before, a live musician. Live performance has always been a core to what you do. When you do you find, are you going to be the songs that you write always? Do you have in that mindset when you're writing these songs to always have something that can sound good live?
When I was starting out, when I was starting out with the open mics and stuff, I definitely because I was just using my voice and guitar and a loop pedal, so I definitely have that in mind. I'd pretty much write it around the loop pedal, which I use live for my solo sets. So that was definitely an aspect of it. But at the moment, with my new stuff that I've been making, it's going to be tricky to figure out how to play them live and live up to the recordings, But I'm pretty keen to get into a bit more, get some drum pads, get some cool stuff going that I'll be able to play those sort of electronic-y sort of sounds with that I can't make with a guitar and voice, But yeah, I haven't really, especially in lockdown, I haven't really been writing songs based off what they're going to sound like live. I've sort of just been creating and
because it's just, it's a totally different setting, isn't it? When you can't play live, it's just because you reckon it's sort of when you sit down and then you put your pen to paper or whatever, you sit down and start fiddling around on the guitar. With that mindset of now no longer saying this has to be played live or this is something that is supposed to be a live song. Do you find then that you're going with maybe the different chord progressions or different melodies that you wouldn't have otherwise come up with?
Definitely. Yeah, especially because like the way I've been writing songs is more, laptop based, like more, as I keep saying, electronic-y sort of samples and stuff. And yeah, I'm really excited for the challenge to make the new songs what they sound like through a speaker. I'm really excited it's going to be a challenge, but I'm really excited to dive into a bit more, musical gear that'll spruce up the set, I guess.
Because that's the thing. There's one really good aspect of that. You, as myself, as a live, starting as a live performer myself, you don't think about really when you're writing for songs to be played live. But you more think of that production side. Is how is each spectrum of how is each spectrum on the frequency going to be used? And it's sort of simultaneous, isn't it? Because when you're playing live, it's just, okay, this sounds cool live. But when you're sitting down in a studio or sitting down to write something that is not as live, you've got to think about each frequency. Go, what's going in the bass end? What's happening in the mids? What's happening in the trebles? And,
exactly.
I was going to say, will it need to be filled out or not?
Yeah, as I said, it's going to be tough to figure it out. But I think with help from my band as well, I want them to help me build my solo set because they're all like musical bloody genius nerds. They know everything about everything, so I'm sure they'll be able to help me out. But yeah, like as you said, when you're producing this, it's completely different to like making a song while you're producing it compared to writing a song on guitar with a bloody pen and pad to write lyrics with, because so many other aspects to it. Yeah, it's going to be tough to figure it out, but I reckon it'll be worth it once it all pulls off.
So you recently, we'll talk about the EP actually. Yeah. So a few weeks back, you put out a recent release called Instinct, which relatively soon will play one of the tracks off. But this one was is an example of your new stuff where you have been recording it yourself and producing it yourself.
That one actually, because it's a collaborative EP with my mate Chatty B. So I actually, we produced that on GarageBand, man. Shout out to GarageBand.
GarageBand is getting a lot of love this week.
Yeah, mate. But that EP is not necessarily what I've been talking about with the producing side of things. That's sort of like still that acoustic. Like we wrote that with a guitar and a pen and a paper pretty much. And then we just, chucked it together into GarageBand and got someone to mix and master it and stuff. But it's still, it's still that raw sort of acoustic feel, just with a bit of sauce, I guess you could say, with the production side of things.
Just a little bit of extra sauce. It's 20 cents extra. A bit of
extra sauce, yeah. Just bloody sweet and sour.
Yeah, it's like the fish and chip shops will never let you have little tomato sauce packets free. It's like 20 cents extra. Like they'll let you have a potato cake, which is arguably more expensive, for free, but never the tomato. No, not the tomato sauce. Man. It's like you want the tomato sauce, you've got to pay for it. Like that is our national treasure, tomato sauce packets. Yeah. I thought apparently that's an Australian thing. Like nowhere else does the tomato sauce packets.
Really?
Yeah, I was reading somewhere. Apparently, you would think it's like be pretty obvious, because the little sauce packets, they're very ergonomical. They're what is it, portable? You can take them out. They're perfect for takeaway. But you squeeze them and it gets rid of all the sauce perfectly. You don't get dirty fingers, or you don't have to worry about a spoon. But no, apparently nowhere else uses the squeezy. Must
just use bottles and stuff, I guess.
Yeah, or the ones where you have to get a spoon, like the Macca's dipping sauces.
Yeah.
It's like, well, I don't have a nugget with me. I don't have to go and dip it. I want to cover my chips with it.
Yeah, I want to cover my bloody sausage roll with it.
Yeah, it's like it's just that classic. I suppose that's it. Like, who else is having meat pies at the footy? I suppose that's where it comes from.
The Aussies.
Classic. Why the hell did you go with sauce?
Yeah, man. It's all about the sauce.
Yeah, no, all the sauce. Send us. What's the sauce? No, what was the source of inspiration for this EP? There's a question.
Yeah, there's the question.
That's the segue.
So me and my mate Chatty, we've known each other for about 2 years. I met him through my mate Davey Simony, and
you've got a lot of mates, haven't you, Jimmy? You just make a lot of mates. So mate of a mate, just some bloke I know.
Yeah, I guess so, bro. But we started playing open mics together. Just started hanging out, jamming a bit, and then we got up GarageBand one night with on Chatty's old it's like a 2007 Mac or something.
Showing us age
it's like
a bit.
old.
So one of those ones where the fan's still really loud, like you just listen in the background.
I can't remember exactly what year it was, but it's bloody old. We started just mucking around with that, getting ideas down here and there. We probably since when was it? Probably, I don't know, maybe quarter of the way through 2018. We probably wrote till now. Probably wrote maybe 30, 40 songs together. Then so Chatty really inspires me. He's so creative. He doesn't have his lyrics. He's got no barrier. He's just a really amazing creative. So he's just every time he was oh, come over, let's record a song. I'm like, I'll be there in bloody 20 minutes, But we ended up going, all right, we should probably choose a couple of the songs and actually start to figure out a release and stuff. So we picked those three. Those three were definitely the strongest out of them all. Just as the EP is called Instinct, it's sort of a real raw, sort of instinctual, sort of lyric-based EP, I guess.
Yeah. So these songs that are on there, are they all older songs, or did you write them specifically for the release?
No, we just chose them out of a bunch of songs, so we didn't actually write them one after the other or anything. We just, they were our favourites.
Yeah. So was it just you wanted to put something down on there as a record of what you've done in the past, essentially? Yeah,
exactly. And we were super proud of them. And once we got them mixed and mastered, because when we produced them, I think we produced them at the end of last year or something. And we didn't really know what the hell we were doing. So when we got the mix and masters back, we were like, holy shit, oh my God, because it sounded so much better.
I remember I was watching, I was on one of those big Facebook posts that somebody put up in one of those groups, and the big ones, the ones that you have on the music pages, and it's just these 110 comments. And I don't know how it came up, but I think it was to do with production and that sort of thing. And then somebody commented a few years back I had a client that just wasn't happy with any vocal take he did, and he was a pretty shit singer. So he's just slagging off this guy he's talking about. And then he didn't want any effects on his vocals, but I secretly put a bit of pitch correction on there. And then he got back to me, he's like, oh, these takes sound amazing. I don't know what you did, but they sound awesome.
Yeah.
And he was like, yeah, I know what I did. It's and he had no clue, and he's he never worked with him again. He said he was just that pissed off with him. He's like, right, I'm just going to put the pitch shift on it, and then I'm not going to deal with him again.
It's fair enough, bro. Honestly, it's crazy with pitch correction these days, because, when people hear pitch, people that aren't really musical and stuff, when they hear pitch correction, they think auto-tune, that real, modern day auto-tune, but you can use it so subtly, and bloody hell, it polishes things off pretty nicely if you want, if you want to use it, I guess. I've used it on a couple of things, but I try to steer away from it. Obviously, you want to get a perfect take, but
is there that challenge with you then when you come along and say, oh, I want to try more experimental sounds, moving forward? Is there that tug of war going on with that sort of, oh no, it's not authentic, I've got to write songs that are authentic, auto-tunes like the devil, and then there's this other half of you going, well, I should experiment more, I've got to open up more, I've got to be more open-minded. Are you one of those people that has that war going on?
I got over that a long time. When I was starting out, I was like, I don't want to play the simple chords. I want to play weird ass chords. And now, man, some of my best songs are literally three, C to G to whatever. I got past that whole, needs to be this, needs to be that. It's music. If it makes you feel good, if it sounds the way you want it to, then I'm happy.
Did it end up having to be, was there a point at which that you had to break free from that sort of mindset, or did someone say something to you, or did something happen that triggered that? I can't
really remember. I can't remember what triggered it, man, but there was definitely a period of time where I think I was just going, some of the best songs in the world are the simplest chord progression. It doesn't, I'm not making music for musicians, That's what I think I got really stuck on, was trying to make everything all technical, so musicians would approve of it. And now I'm like, there's 3% of the world, I want to make music for the listeners and me.
He's a man of the people. That's what he means.
That's it.
So you could run an election on that platform. It's pretty much the same mindset. I'm not doing things for me. No.
Nah.
It's for you. I'll be as simple as I can. I got to dumb everything down.
Yeah, exactly.
For the illiterate
One
masses.
chord songs. That's it.
Let's chat because we'll play one of the songs off the EP. So you did pick the final song off the recent EP called Rosalind. I was just hoping maybe you could tell us a bit about the story behind it and how you came about putting it together in the studio.
Yeah, so Rosalind, Chatty went to Chile for a month at the end of last year.
Yeah.
And so I didn't have a computer at the time or anything, so he gave me his computer with the GarageBand and everything just to stuff around with, make demos while he was in Chile. So when he came back, we could keep working on songs. And yeah, pretty much just made the rough demo just in my bedroom, man. Nothing too crazy. Like there's not really a crazy story or anything about it.
There doesn't have to be like I don't.
Yeah,
exactly.
Exactly.
It can be fun to have a fun story, but sometimes it's just like it just comes together. There's no magic behind it.
I'm not going to make up a bloody crazy story. It was pretty much just made in my bedroom. And then when I did I remember showing Chatty when he got back. He's like, man, this is one we got to polish off and finish. And the lyrics are pretty much. It's just like it's about just pretty much connection, man. Pretty much like that.
It's about the vibe, man.
Putting your hand out.
Marbo. It's the vibe.
Yeah. Yeah, man. It's nothing too crazy in the story about Rosalind, but we were so happy with it once we got the full mix and masters back.
Yeah, cool. Let's play it. It's off the air, as we said before. It's off the new EP Instinct, which is out now. I'm going to be right back soon with Jimmy afterwards. We're going to chat a bit more about what's going on. So please don't go anywhere. But here it is, Rosalind by Jimmy Harwood and Chatty B right here on Bar Talk. Well, everyone, hope you enjoyed that. I certainly did. That was Rosalind by my good man Jimmy Harwood and his associate Chatty B of the new EP Instinct, which is out now too. So go and give that a stream when you are finished with this episode, wherever you're listening. But as we mentioned before, we've got Jimmy Harwood on the phone right now, chatting all things music. Jimmy, great track. It's certainly one of the it's certainly a very probably one of the tighter songs off that release that you did just put out. You can tell there's a lot of even though that you recorded it pre-lockdown, it does have. I was getting the vibe that this really does suit the lo-fi nature of recording in lockdown. So you could disguise it as a lockdown release. So it strangely works.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
With I want to talk a bit about your band because you've been with them. Is it the same band you've had for the last few years? Because because you've been playing. Because I remember when we first met you, you were solo, and as you said, you used to play a lot with the loop pedal, and because you were one of the. No, I don't. It's probably going to sound worse than I mean it to be, but when you're starting out, a lot of people at the time were using loop pedals. And loop pedals have really exploded in popularity in the last 10 years thanks to Ed Sheeran. But you were certainly in that crowd of people who like to write sort of that hip-hop infused acoustic music with a loop pedal. But then you've moved to a lot more band stuff in the few years. What I want to know is how you came about meeting the people in your band and what's caused them to sort of stick by you as the years have moved on.
It's a funny story. It was not really funny, but we actually were all in the same high school music class together, man. Like literally every one of us, which just worked out. So I got so lucky with my year at school when I was in high school because pretty much no other year level was had many kids at all doing music. And then our year level for some reason just had 15 crazy musicians. And when I first started writing songs, I played one of them to my class, and then all the boys in the band were just I started recording it with Mark, the guitarist. He produces a lot of my stuff, and we started recording, and then when I had my first ever EP launch, we got the band together. They're all super tight musicians. They all used to play in the jazz band together at school and stuff, so they already had a connection, I guess, music wise. And then I brought my songs to them, and they they help out a lot with a lot more of my band sounding music. They help out with the songwriting, and they're, how do I explain it? They spruce up the songs a lot more than what they would have been if it was just me doing it myself. Especially with like Alex, the drummer, for example, is like super smart with song structures, how to keep it interesting, how to keep songs moving, and not really a crazy story, man. We all just happened to be in the same music class.
Just good friends bonding over good music.
That's it.
That's about as wholesome as it gets, folks. Doesn't get any better than that. So I'm wondering then, with those strong bonds that you sort of created with your classmates back in high school, did the school that you go to have a very strong music program that encouraged that sort of collaborative effort?
Yeah, man. So I went to Q High School, and they have, it seems to like that was the only high school I went to, but I've heard a lot from friends that went to other schools how so many of the music programs are based around like, orchestras and really classical sort of music. We got really lucky at Q High because they do encourage lots of contemporary, just, going out and gigging and getting together and jamming, and not necessarily the technical sort of classical aspect to it, which was really helpful because like everyone in our class did contemporary, wanted to do contemporary stuff and gigs and stuff. So got super lucky. Yeah, they've got a really good music program down there, and the teachers are awesome. The coordinator's awesome. Yeah, it's really good.
Did you have any music teachers or like old school rockers? Just, they used to...
Yeah, bro. Nearly all of them were the classic old school rockers, hey.
That's great. Like, because you would have heard some awesome stories from them, surely.
Yeah, for sure.
That's really cool because it is... And I know people hear about it all the time, but it's good. It's important to stress that those years that you are growing up, those teenage years, are really important to sort of put that foundation of music in, because that's where it sort of sets in your mind and goes, this is something that's really cool. Or if it's handled really poorly, it can put you off doing it as an adult.
Exactly, for sure. And like in year 12, the start of year 12, I said to my parents, I want to do music. That's all I want to do. I'm going to go play open mics every night instead of bloody studying. And I got really supportive parents, which like let me do that. Super lucky. And the teachers were the same. I told all my teachers at school, this is what I want to do. I'm not going to be doing any good. Like, don't expect me to be getting A's and everything and that sort of thing. So the music department they were super stoked that I was going out and playing open mics during the weekdays and stuff.
With I was going to say, because it's great that you did have that really supportive background from both your school and your family. What I want to know is there any at any point did any of your teachers or your parents or someone that you looked up to give you a piece of advice that has stuck with you all those years since? One
of my English teachers, man, I'm pretty much friends with him. I still catch up with him. He comes to my gigs and stuff, and he was always so supportive. Cool. Yeah. He's such a legend. Like throughout high school, it wasn't really that teacher relationship. It was more like I was just a mate of his. And he was always like, if you want to do music, like I know that's all you want to do, then like go for it for sure. And same as my parents, pretty like just go in for it. If you're going to go for it, you got to go 100%, 110%, and not half-ass it.
Yeah. So it was really that putting that workmanship and that ethic, that effort into really, really succeeding. So I'm guessing there was that understanding that, right, you're going to do this, make sure you do it properly.
Exactly. That's, spot on.
So that's great. So you've, is the intention, obviously moving forward to going back to your band, and that is the intention to do recordings where they're going to all be involved in the studio process? Or at this stage, are you looking mainly, I mean, I know at the moment with lockdown and that, it's mainly going to be yourself, but after all this is over, are you intending to incorporate your band into the recording process?
Actually, man, in end of 2018, we actually recorded a band EP together, which has been sitting there for ages, and I don't want to say too much. But
okay.
Looking like the end of the year, it might actually finally come out, which is sick.
So all that hard work and extra stuff you were too lazy to put out has paid off.
It was just like, just a lot of factors as to why it hasn't been put out. But it's still, even though it was that long ago, and even though my sound has sort of changed, I still love that EP as much as I did when we made it. So I'm super keen to actually get that out. And as you said, like the whole band's on it. Like I don't like the bass player plays bass, keys. I mean keyboard. You know, everyone plays their role, and I'm playing guitar and vocals. So yeah,
nice. Are you ever thinking about, because you know you went, probably won't play some guitar on some tracks and that. So will the intention when you play live ever be to just be the singer, or do you feel like that you feel naked without a guitar in front of you?
There'll definitely, in my new sets, there'll definitely be songs where I will just grab the mic and do some rappy sort of singy stuff. But I think, I do sort of feel naked without a guitar or an instrument, but I definitely want to work on my stage presence just with a mic, because I think it's really important. When you got a really sick crowd, you can get really interactive with them when you've just got a mic and your voice and other people playing the instruments for you. But I'll definitely always be playing guitar. Like I could never not play a set without a guitar, I don't think. No way.
Let's chat a bit about what's coming up, because very soon, it is going to be very soon. You're going to be having a new release come out, and I believe it'll be next month. Yeah?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Tell us a bit about that and how that's, you sort of touched on it before, but tell us a bit how it's going to differ compared to your previous stuff.
It's going to shock a lot of people, man. I hope in a good way.
You're worried you're going to lose a couple of fans over this one?
No. Like at the end of the day, I'm just making songs for me, I guess. If people like them and they like them.
It's a good switch up when at least somebody is pissed off, because it's just you haven't kept things too uncontroversial. It's a bit out there.
And even if people that like the classic acoustic stuff I've done, like I'll still be making acoustic EPs and stuff in the future anyway. So, but this EP I've got coming out next month, I started writing during isolation, and I pretty much wrote the first song to the fifth song. So I'm super stoked at how it all flows, and it's got as I've been saying this whole time, electronic-y sort of vibes, a bit more upbeat than usual. It's just like another side of me, man. I'm really excited for people to hear it, because I don't think anyone's going to be expecting what they sound like. But I think people dig it, hopefully. I was actually going to, when I finished, because there's 5 songs on the EP, when I finished the 5th one, I was like, do I make an album or do I just make an EP? And I decided to just keep it as an EP.
Were you worried it would stretch out too much if you went further?
Yeah, well, I've always wanted to do my debut album with the band. So, and I've just produced this. This is like all me. So, want to save the album for the band, and we'll probably start recording it after lockdown's over, and we'll catch up and have a jam and stuff. So, yeah,
I'm sure it'll be such an important and lethargic or cathartic, whatever the appropriate term is, experience. You finally get to see them all again and play together.
Man, it'd be so good. I'm so excited.
So there is going to be a single coming out as of this Friday, and it's going to be called Lucid State. I was going to say we're going to play it. Yeah. Actually, you've given us permission to play it, and I'm very excited that we get a little bit of a cheeky, sneaky peek of what's upcoming or what's coming up. Sorry. Yeah. But tell us a little bit about, I guess, how this song's come together, and I guess where it fits into that larger release, because you mentioned that you wrote it all in order. So I'm interested to see how that fits in terms of the context of the whole release.
Yeah, so it's the Lucid State's the third track of the EP. It's sort of like the bridge of the whole EP, keeps it flowing, and yeah, man, it's like real synth heavy. There's heaps of synths in there. There's like 808 bloody bass, like real hip hoppy sort of kicks and drums and stuff. It's a pretty powerful song compared to anything I've ever released. It's just the soundscape of it and the whole vibe of it's just a lot bigger and not better, just different, bigger and different than what I've usually done in the past.
Yeah. It certainly sounds more, going by what you're saying, it sounds more adventurous to what people are used to hearing from you. For sure.
It's probably the most adventurous song I've ever done. So, yeah.
Is it one of these releases that's going to be more where the actual sonic textures are saying more of a story than the lyrics, whereas the lyrics are sort of a secondary feature of that? Or is it still very much like your previous releases in that aspect where the lyrics are front and center and the music is there to support it?
A bit of both, man. You're right in saying the instruments definitely tell their own stories for sure. Sorry. Like there's a lot of the songs just, instrumental without lyrics, but the lyrics are also pretty classic sort of Jimmy, like pretty just straight to the point sort of thing, telling it how it is.
So did you find then that with this more conscious effort to expand your sonic palettes that you sort of were deciding on what tones to use depending on what the lyrics were saying and what the song itself was saying?
Sort of, man. Yeah. The topic.
It's a tough question.
But I'm pretty sure I can't remember exactly, but I definitely made the beat. I definitely finished off the whole beat before I started writing the lyrics. And the beat definitely influenced the lyrics for sure. I think they suit really well with the sonic textures, as you said, of the song.
Yep. Nice. Sometimes it's better to keep it simple. Yeah, and let the audience decide, as they say.
Yeah, exactly.
Obviously, let's run through all your socials and where we can find all of your music, where we can find the previous releases, and of course where the upcoming releases will be put out, so that we can all keep track of what you're doing.
Yeah. So my Instagram, most of my social media stuff's based around Instagram. So my Instagram's just Jimmy Harwood, not Hardwood. There's no D in the middle there.
Calm down, everyone.
Yeah. No, man.
Don't get
every time. Bro, the amount of gig posters I've had that literally say Jimmy Hardwood, I'm like, I get to the venue, I'm like,
oh, big God, poster another controversy.
Yeah.
Someone's grandma's upset.
You can find my music pretty much anywhere, mostly on Spotify, just Jimmy Harwood again. Pretty much if you type in Jimmy Harwood anywhere, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, it's all Jimmy Harwood, pretty simple. So, yeah.
Yeah. Got to make sure everyone can look it up.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Do you consider yourself a family-friendly artist? Like someone that the whole family can enjoy?
Yes and no. Some of my lyrics definitely maybe go outside that barrier, but yes and no.
Okay, all right. So it's
give it a shot.
Maybe just proceed with caution on that front.
Proceed with caution. That's it.
Awesome.
That's it.
So thanks so much for taking the time out of your busy afternoon at home in chatting to me about all things Jimmy and all things music related. So thank you.
Oh, thanks for having me, man. Thanks heaps for having me.
Absolute pleasure. Again, best of luck with everything. Congrats on the new releases, of course, and hopefully everybody can handle the new Jim 2.0.
Oh, hopefully, man. Jim, that's it, man. It's 2.0. We'll have to go back to the 1.0, I think, at some point, but yeah, I'm really excited, man, for the new stuff.
Nice. So, as we said before, Lucid State is coming out this Friday. If you're listening as of time of release, or if it's after Friday when you're listening, go and check it out now if you can. But before you do, please sit back and relax as we play the new single, Lucid State, right here on which show, Jimmy? AMR, that's it. Bar Talk, here it is.
Bar talk, that's it.
All good.
AustralianMusiciansRadio.com